as I was driving through the lanes sort of behind Holt area, I looked over the hedge, and rather than a field full of sugar beet, I saw a field full of little cars. With me is George Brown. What sort of cars are these, George?
These are all 1930s Austins. We're part of the Austin 10 Drivers Club. This is a club that started in the mid-60s to look after cars which were then about 30 years old. Group started the club, and since then we've invited other cars, and the club now caters for Austins with 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20 horsepower engines.
So why Norfolk? Why have you come here?
Each year we try and get together with as many people as we can from all over the UK, and to be fair to people, we try and position it in different venues so that it's always going to be close to somebody, because if we always have it in the same place, some people would have the greatest distance every year. So we move it around to different venues.
So how far do people come to the club?
Today we've got people who've driven to Norfolk from Devon. That's
a fair way, isn't it? Yeah.
They did 390 miles, but it took 2 days.
Now, the little cars, of course, they are quite small, aren't they? They're not a modern car. You don't sort of hop in and start them. That's quite a voyage, isn't it?
Yes, most people would know the Austin 7 because it's a well-known little chrome rad. They came out in the early 20s. Well, Austin then built beyond the 7. They introduced the 10, the 12, and the cars got bigger and bigger. These are a labour of love. You've got to love them.
Yes.
They're not particularly fast. My own car is not here today, but my own car has no synchromesh, so it's got a crash gearbox, double G clutch.
So you have to press the pedal twice to get the gears in and out again.
And that's a challenge all the time.
So looking across here, dare I say, I mustn't use the word noddy car, but it is bright yellow. Would that have been bright yellow?
Yes, yeah, it's known as primrose.
Oh, it's primrose.
Primrose yellow.
Wonderful.
It stands out.
It does.
Most popular Austin colours were a blue or maroon, or what they call a light auto brown, but there are exceptions, and there's two of them there.
We tend to sort of see that as being a very modern colour, and you could see that on a sort of modern-day Porsche or something, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
Very, very bright colours.
But the majority of cars is a deep blue or maroon, or occasionally black. But yeah, that's unusual, and it's lovely.
So how many of the cars would be left now? Do you know? The registrars are sort of
We've got nearly 1,000 members. Some members own only one car. I'm not being cheeky, but some members only own one. Several people own up to 5 or 6, and they just enjoy using different cars on different occasions. But there are 1,000 members, and in total we think quite a lot of Austins are owned by people in our club, but there are other people who choose to have an old car and don't want to be part of the club. They just want to do their own thing.
The association of the membership. Yeah, and obviously I guess they're all over the world, are they?
They are. Austin made these and exported a lot. So as a club, we've got about 1,000 members in total, and of those, about 200 are overseas. So we communicate with them with a magazine every month, which I'm responsible for producing, and we send them to places in Africa. We send them to most of the European countries. We send them to Australia, New Zealand, North America. So there are Austins in most parts of the world because they were exported in the 30s.
Now, unusually, I've come to an event here today, or dropped in and spoken to George about an event people can't actually come to, can they? This has to be a members. This is a members.
This is a members only. It's a closed event for insurance purposes rather than opening it up to the public. Today there are only a few cars on site because it's today when people go and drive and explore the local area. Tomorrow and come back.
Yes.
And tomorrow we will have over 60 Austins all parked up in different classes depending on their age and the model, and then they're judged according to a very strict criteria, and we award prizes tomorrow afternoon.
Wonderful. So today is really sort of it's the gathering section, isn't it, really?
Coming together, meeting people, and we've got a remarkable caterer in the clubhouse, so we've got a 3-course meal tonight. It's all pre-booked.
Wonderful.
We've got a DJ with live music, so it's a real...
Is that from the era of the car?
Probably not, no. Probably 60s and 70s when most of us will remember the music.
When the car was 30.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
Exactly. Yeah, so there we are, Sam. If you look out across Norfolk tomorrow, that's Sunday, you might see various little colours, but these wonderful little cars. Looks a little bit like an Austin 7, but it's a little bit bigger, isn't it, George?
It is, yeah, slightly bigger engine, and they're very popular.